Hello and welcome to On the Mat with Lydia. That's me. And whatever has brought you to your yoga practice today, you are very welcome here. Today's class is a Pitta-Pacifying class. So if you're not familiar with Pitta dosha, I encourage you to check out my Get to Know the Doshas video. I'll leave that link in the description and I'll also put it somewhere on the screen here for you. But Pitta is usually characterized by being very hot and intense. So if you have a lot of Pitta in you, you probably like some hot yoga that's very structured and sequenced. I think of like Ashtanga and Bikram come to mind. So in order to balance that out, to reduce that Pitta, we need a practice that's a little more slow and calm and cooling. So that's what we're going to be doing today, is a nice slow-paced flow. Most of the time is going to be spent on the ground, doing a lot of more restorative postures and just allowing ourselves some time to relax. So when you're ready, please grab a blanket. It could be a yoga blanket, a blanket off your bed, whatever you've got, and let's get on the mat. Please begin in a comfortable seated position on your mat. So take a moment to find your seat, get comfortable. As you lift up tall through your spine, drop the shoulders back and down. And if it feels safe and comfortable for you, allow your eyes to close. Allowing ourselves these first few moments on the mat to really arrive and drop in. Becoming aware of how your body feels in this moment, in this space. Becoming aware of any thoughts that may be moving through your mind. Aware of your mood and any emotions that have followed you onto the mat today. And as you drop into your breath here, starting to find a slow, smooth rhythm of inhales and exhales. Relaxing that space between your eyebrows. Softening your jaw. Unclenching your fingers and your toes. And giving yourself this space, this time on your mat today to really prioritize you, to move through your yoga practice without any goals or expectations, and to take this class at about 70% effort. So allowing your breath to be kind of a gauge for that effort level. If at any point throughout the practice you notice your breathing becomes heavy or labored, or you become short of breath, and that might be an indication that you can slow things down a little bit more. At times you might recognize some resistance or discomfort when it comes to letting yourself slow down and relax. But just for today, try it out, experiment with it, see if it feels good for you. Let's take another full round of breath here, inhaling through your nose. Exhaling through your mouth. And keeping your eyes closed or fluttering them open. Gently drop your chin in towards your chest. Feel a little stretch there at the back of your neck. And moving your right ear over towards your right shoulder. Feel that stretch. Come back through center and move your left ear over towards your left shoulder. And you can continue with this movement if it feels good for your neck and shoulders. Gently moving the head side to side, making these little rainbows with the chin. Allowing yourself to take your time with this movement, really feel into the sensations here. And gently bringing your chin back through center. Lifting your head back up, chin comes to neutral. And now we'll draw the shoulders up towards the ears and then drop them back and down. Starting to roll through your shoulders here, up, back, and down. Allowing these circles to be as small or as big as you need them to be today. Maybe even picking up the elbows a little bit, making these circles a little bit larger. Noticing any crunchiness, any tightness you might be experiencing up here around the neck, the shoulders, the upper back. And then gently bringing the arms, the shoulders back to stillness. Bringing your hands to your thighs, palms face up. Please use your inhales to spread your fingers nice and wide. Open the palm. And as you exhale, curl your fingers in towards your palms. Again, inhaling to spread your fingers wide. And exhaling to curl your fingers in. Let's do that just a few more times. If it feels good, you might even move through your wrists a little bit here. And at the bottom of your next exhale, relax your hands once again onto your thighs. If your eyes are still closed, slowly flutter them open. And let's make our way onto hands and knees. Find your tabletop position. Now I'll invite you today, if you have your blanket, to place this underneath your knees. So using our blanket today to invite a little bit more nourishment and nurturing into our yoga practice. As you find your tabletop position, planting through the palms, finding your nice long spine. And with your next inhale, draw your shoulder blades together, gently lift the chin. As you exhale, start to tuck your chin and round your spine. Moving through our cat-cow as you inhale, arching the back. As you exhale, rounding through your spine. A few more times on your own here, inhaling for your cow. And exhaling for your cat. Really tapping into the sensations in your spine here. Maybe inviting in a little organic movement like shaking the hips or moving the head. Really feeling into every nook and cranny of your body here today. Seeing where you might be holding on to a little bit of tension or tightness. And remember today, we're here to practice without judgment, without expectation, without any goals for our bodies or our practice. So can you welcome in a little bit of softness and gentleness with yourself as you look around? With your next inhale, bringing your spine back through center, tabletop position. From here, bringing your left foot to step forward to the top of your mat. Let's find our low lunge. So again, that blanket might stay underneath your back knee if that feels nice to have that cushion. Left foot is planted into the mat. Left hand will come up to your left thigh. Take an inhale here. Think about dropping your hips, lifting your heart. As you exhale, start to turn your chest to face your left knee, pressing into your hands lightly to help you turn into this twist. Now, option one is to keep your left hand resting on your left thigh. Option 2 is to play with adding a little side stretch here by sweeping that left arm up and over the left ear. And from there, you might bring just a little bit of movement into the shape. You might stay in stillness. Noticing your breath, remembering that 70% effort. So feeling that your breath can stay smooth and easy no matter where you are. Let's take one more inhale here. As you exhale, slowly unwind your twist. Bring that left hand down to the inside of your left foot. You can heel toe that left foot a little bit wider if that feels nice to give your hips some more space. You might even turn your toes out slightly. Setting up for our lizard lunge here. So your first option is to stay lifted on your fingertips, feeling this drop of the hips and tuning into that stretch going on around the pelvis. Option 2 is to start to move down onto your forearms. Now, if you have yoga blocks, you might use them here underneath your arms, or if you can comfortably come all the way to the floor, you might go all the way there. Now remember, again, 70% effort, so you might back off a little bit more than you would usually do today. Give yourself that space to play with something different. Try it out. Remember that this is just yoga. It's not so serious. So it's okay if you're not going into your deepest version of the pose every time. And once you've found your lizard for the day, let's stay for about 3 more rounds of breath. If you're not already there, please start to lift back up onto your palms. Slowly sending that left knee back to meet your right once again. Pass through that tabletop position. And then sink all the way back into your child's pose, hips meeting your heels. Now, for your child's pose today, you might choose to take your blanket and instead of putting it underneath your knees, you could put it just under your seat, giving yourself just a little bit more space for your hips and your back to stretch. And if your child's pose is just not feeling good at all for you today, that's a-okay. Please feel free to come to a seated position or your tabletop instead. Let's stay here for one more inhale. And exhale out through an open mouth. Letting go of any excess heat. Let's do that again. Inhaling through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out. Inhaling, rise back up towards your tabletop position. Maybe readjusting that blanket if you're using it today. Then coming onto hands and knees once again, maybe situating your knees onto your blanket. This time we'll step the right foot forward, coming up into our low lunge on the other side. Take a moment to feel that stretch for the hips, lengthening through the top left thigh, sending your heart forward. Right hand will find your right thigh here as you inhale. Exhale, turning into your twist, right shoulder back, spreading across your collarbones. Now again, option to keep your right hand on top of your thigh or play with that side bend, bringing your right arm towards your right ear. Allowing yourself the space to play and move if that feels right. Or playing with a little bit of stillness, experimenting with how that feels for your body today. And every once in a while, just checking back in with your breath. See how things are going. Allowing yourself to take some pressure off yourself here. So there's no need to look a certain way or achieve a certain pose here. Today we're all about feeling into your body and feeling good. Let's take one more inhale here in this twist. As you exhale, slowly unwind, bringing your right hand to the inside of your right foot. And you might heel toe that right foot a little wider, opening some space for your hip, maybe even turning the toes out slightly. Setting up once again for our lizard lunge. So our option 1 is to stay lifted here on the palms or fingertips. Option 2 is to lower down onto the forearms. Now remember, there's no need to strain or force your body in any way here today. Going to that place in the shape where you feel sensation, you feel that stretch for your hips, but there's no pain, there's no pinching, there's no pulling, and there's no strain for the mind either. And once you find that sweet spot for your body, allowing your breath to take you deeper into that pose. We have one more inhale here. And stay for the exhale. Lifting back up onto your palms if you're not already there. Sending your right knee back to meet your left. Again, passing through all fours. And then sitting yourself back towards your child's pose. Now, once again, if child's pose is not feeling good for your body today, whether it's your knees, your hips, your low back, please feel free to come up to seated instead. This time we're going to add a little side stretch, so you can do this from your seat or from your child's pose. Reaching your fingertips overhead here, really stretching out to feel that length between your hip and your fingertips. Start to walk your hands over to the left side of your mat, lengthening out through that right side waist. So if you're in your child's pose, feeling your hips get a little bit heavier, feeling this kind of crescent moon shape you're creating through the side waist. And just like before, using your breath to deepen your experience of this pose. Maybe here even slowing down the breath a little bit more. And with your next inhale, walking your hands back through center. As you exhale, traveling your hands over to the right. Finding this stretch now for your left side waist. Sending a little extra breath over into your left side rib cage, your left lower back. And allowing your belly to relax here so that it can expand and relax along with each inhale and exhale. And with your next inhale, start to bring your arms back through center. Big exhale out through your mouth. Beautiful. Slowly start to make your way towards a seated position on your mat. Maybe coming to sit on the edge of your blanket if you want to use it, or setting that blanket off to the side for now. So as you come onto your bum here, take a moment to stretch the legs out, give them a little shake, a little wiggle. We'll keep that left leg extended, bend the right knee. Open your right knee wide so that you can bring the sole of your foot either up to your inner thigh or to your inner calf, just avoiding that knee joint. Sitting up tall on your sits bones here, let's take an inhale to reach up. As you exhale, folding forward, sending your heart towards your toes and landing your hands down. Keeping a soft bend in that left knee, keep reaching your heart forward, hips back. And then from that length of the spine, you can start to drop the head and chest down. So we're going to let ourselves take some time in this shape today. If at any point you meet that resistance, that discomfort that tells you it's time to move or do something different, just meet that with a smile and come back to your breath. Let's take one more inhale here. Exhale out through nose or mouth. As you inhale, slowly rise, walking your hands back towards you. From here, we'll bend that left knee. Draw your right heel a little bit closer towards your left butt cheek, if that feels okay for your knee. And then cross that left foot to the outer edge of your right thigh. If this feels pinchy for the right knee, please feel free to straighten the leg instead. Now, still grounding down through your sits bones, let's sit up nice and tall, light through the rib cage. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, take your twist, turning towards the left. Now, I'll offer you an option for the arms today, but please feel free to go somewhere different if that feels more comfortable for you. We'll wrap that right arm in front of the left knee and then interlace our fingers, gently hugging the leg in towards the chest, drawing the chest forward and up. So if you'd like, on each inhale, you can think about drawing that leg in, sitting taller. Then on each exhale, finding a place to soften and relax into the pose. So it's almost like the pose is breathing with us here, inhaling to hug in and exhaling to relax. We'll spend about 3 more rounds of breath here. Maybe your eyes close or your gaze softens during that time. And we'll take one more inhale here. As you exhale, slowly unwind your twist, bring your chest back to center. Now that left foot is going to keep walking towards the edge of your mat until your knees just about stack one over the other. Now this might be a place where it feels nice to sit up on your blanket, giving yourself the chance to lift your hips a little bit above your knees. But if this still feels crunchy in your knees or your hips, then please cross your left shin in front of your right and take the stretch there. Same sensation for the hip, just a little bit less pretzel-y. So wherever you are, take an inhale to sit up tall. As you exhale, sending your chest forward, hands can come out to support you. And relaxing your head down as you come into this fold. Again, we'll spend a fair few breaths here. So allow yourself to really drop into this awareness of your breathing, of the sensations in your body, of any thoughts or emotions that might pop up. And see if you can meet whatever you encounter with a gentleness, a softness. Building this compassion for yourself and your yoga practice. And let's take another inhale here. Exhale completely. As you inhale, slowly sitting up, walking your hands back towards you. We'll unwind the legs, once again stretching them out long and giving them a little shake. Awesome. So we'll take all that to the other side. This time we're going to keep that right leg extended, bending the left knee, opening your hip to bring the sole of your foot either to your inner thigh or the inner edge of your calf. Sitting up nice and tall here, we'll take an inhale to reach the arms up. As you exhale, folding forward, reaching your heart towards your toes rather than your nose towards your knee. And speaking of that knee, let's keep a little soft bend there so we're not locking out the joint. And once you feel that length in the back of your leg, the length in your low back, you can start to drop the head and round the shoulders a little bit. Coming back time and time again to this slow, steady breathing. Using this breath to help us access deeper states of ease, both on and off the mat. And often that ease will come with time. So if in this moment you're still feeling the urge to move or to force or to achieve a certain goal in your yoga practice, that's okay. There's room for that. There's space for that. And there's also room for you to try something different, to try something relaxing and restful. Let's take another inhale here. Exhale completely. As you inhale, slowly sit up tall once again. Bending into your right knee, let's plant the right foot. Drawing your left heel a little bit closer towards your right butt cheek, and then crossing that right foot to the outer edge of your left thigh. Remember, if this feels icky for the knee, you can always straighten that bottom leg, see if that feels better today. Let's take an inhale to sit up nice and tall. As you exhale, take your twist, drawing your right shoulder back, spreading the collarbones open. Now, if you'd like to take that hugging variation that we did on the other side, left arm will wrap around the front of the right knee, fingers interlace. Your inhale helps you hug in and sit up taller. Your exhale helps you to soften. And we notice in our twists that this can be a place in our practice where we want to really go deep and kind of pull ourselves into this really deep expression of the pose. So see if you can back off even just a millimeter today and see how that feels for your body, for your mind. Let's take another inhale here. As you exhale, slowly unwind your twist. Chest comes back through center. Now let's keep walking that right foot over towards the side of your mat until your knees just about come to stack. Again, option to sit up on your blanket here, or completely unwind the legs and cross right shin in front of left instead. Looking for sensation through the outer line of the right hip here. So take an inhale to sit tall. As you exhale, send your heart forward. Bring your hands with you to help you brace. Dropping your head down, relaxing into your forward fold. Now, for those of us who hold a lot of tightness and tension in the body, that can sometimes center around the hips. So as we really stretch deeply into that area, notice whatever comes up for you. And again, allow yourself to back off a little bit if you want to. Allow yourself to use the breath to help you move through any of that tightness and create a little more space. And notice too that as we're focusing on a certain area of the body right now, that's the hips. Are you clenching anywhere else, like your jaw or your forehead? Just building this awareness so we can see where we can soften a little bit more. Inviting in a little bit more of that ease with each breath. And with your next natural inhale, slowly rise back up to seated. Unwinding your legs, stretch them out long one more time to give them a little shake. And from here, please grab your blanket if you have it. So we're going to take our blanket and fold it up nice and tight here today. So from kind of a hot dog fold, we're going to take the short end and fold it over to reach the other short end. And do that twice. So again, short end to short end. So here we have a nice thickness, and I have a nice thick blanket here. If yours is a thinner blanket, you might want to fold it up one more time, okay? So we're going to place this just about at the midpoint of the mat, maybe slightly towards the bottom edge of your mat. And we're going to scoot all the way up so that we're sitting on the blanket with our tailbone right at the back edge. From there, slowly lower yourself all the way onto your back so that you keep your tailbone, your pelvis firmly rooted on the blanket. One leg at a time, draw your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a little hug here. And then again, one leg at a time, start to stretch your feet up towards the sky. If you need to readjust yourself on the blanket, feel free. We want to make sure that our tailbone is supported here, but our low back is kind of floating in that space between the blanket and the floor. So with your legs lifted above you, see that you can kind of relax the feet, the ankles, the legs as best you can. That might mean you give them a little shake, a little wiggle to help you relax. And then feeling the legs held in space above you. Soften around your toes, your feet, your ankles. Relax your calves, your thighs, even relaxing into the glutes. And your arms here are resting wherever it's comfortable for you. Feeling that your upper body can stay grounded here while we take this gentle inversion. If it feels safe and comfortable for you, you might close your eyes, settling into stillness for a few breaths here. Letting go of any goals or expectations that you're putting on yourself. Even letting go of the expectation to relax perfectly or completely. Allowing yourself to be as you are in this moment, and letting that be enough. And we'll spend about 3 more rounds of breath here, unless you're called to stay longer, of course. At the bottom of your next exhale, start to gather your knees back in towards your chest, moving nice and slow. And then 1 foot at a time, bringing the soles of your feet onto the mat. Bringing your arms down by your sides, draw your shoulder blades into the mat. As you inhale, rise your hips into a bridge pose. While your hips are lifted, reach under and slide that blanket out from underneath you. Take another inhale with the hips lifted. And then exhale, slowly lower back down onto the mat. You can move that blanket off to the side for now. And we'll once again gather the knees in towards the chest, this time moving to our happy baby pose. So for today, let's start with the hands on the backs of the thighs. Open your knees nice and wide, like you're trying to plug them into your armpits. And then kick your heels up towards the sky, keeping your thighs drilling down towards your rib cage. Starting to feel into this sensation for your hips. Now with your hands at the backs of your thighs, if you're not getting any sensation at all, then you might travel your hands up to your ankles or up to your feet. Remember, we're taking it at 70% effort today. So you might choose to stay down at the thighs and let gravity do the work for you here. We have about 3 more rounds of breath here, feeling into the hips one last time for today. Let's take 1 more inhale here. As you exhale, drawing your legs back towards one another. Keeping the knees bent in towards your chest, let's spread the arms out wide now into a T or a cactus shape. Please take an inhale here at center. As you exhale, start to drop your knees over to the right side of your mat, coming into a twist. Now, as you arrive, you have the time to adjust this shape in any way that you need to so that your body really feels comfy cozy here. So maybe you scoot your hips a little closer to that left edge of your mat, creating this long line down through the spine. Maybe you find that blanket again, place it underneath the knees or between the knees. And feeling that spread of the collarbones here, dropping that left shoulder towards the mat. And once again, maybe grabbing that blanket, placing it underneath the left shoulder. Always making the pose work for your body, not the other way around. And once you find that place that feels right for you, allow yourself some time in stillness. Let's find one more inhale here. Exhale completely. With your inhale, making your way back through center, back onto your back. Readjusting the hips if you move them off to the side. And we'll take an inhale here in center. As you exhale, knees drop over to the left this time, creating your twist on the other side. Really listening to your body to see how you might like to adjust this pose today. Noticing that this left side probably feels different than the right. So check in, make your moves, add your props, whatever you want to do here. Eventually finding that place of stillness where you can start to relax the weight of your body into the support of the earth. Please find one more inhale here. And exhale completely. Inhaling to come back through center, back onto your back. Giving yourself one last nice big hug for today. And then one foot at a time, lowering your legs back down to the mat. Moving towards your final resting pose. Now that might be a traditional Shavasana with the legs extended, the arms resting by your sides. You might choose to take your blanket, unfold it, and put it over you. Get nice and cozy there. If there's a different variation of your Shavasana that you'd like to take today, like maybe planting your feet or bringing your feet together and opening your knees wide, feel free to go there as well. Choosing that place that feels the most supportive and nourishing for your body today. And once you're there, getting out any final wiggles or jitters. And settling into stillness for Shavasana. Your time to rest and really soak in the practice. And we'll be here together today for just a few minutes, but know that you always have the opportunity to stay longer. Begin to bring your awareness back onto your mat, back into your body, feeling where you are connected to the earth underneath you, and inviting gentle movement back into your body, wiggling your fingers and your toes, moving and stretching as you gradually reawaken. Eventually using this movement to roll you over onto the right side of your body. And taking a moment to pause here, breathing in through your left nostril and out through your right nostril. As you're ready, please press yourself up to a seated position, just like we started our practice today. And as you arrive in your seat, I invite you to gather your hands once more in front of your heart, sealing your practice with a moment of gratitude, thanking yourself for showing up to your mat today and taking this time just for you. And I thank you so much for meeting me on the mat today. Namaste.